But as someone comes in today, I have my superhero mask.
Huh?
Yes, I've
What?
got
Beautiful.
my
Up to
Hulk.
marble.
I got the Hulk, Iron Man. I think Captain America's in there. Is that Captain America?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Do you have a mustache?
he should run for president, Captain America, right? No, but I won't need it on. I bring a different mask every day. Last week I had my Superman mask and I didn't wear it with my outfit. But anyhow, well, good morning, good afternoon. And, Sean said, what am I going to be playing today? Believe it or not, I didn't pick on my organ that I wanted to play today until my drive in. Why do you ask? Well, because I had three in mind. Actually, I had a bunch in mind. I narrowed it down to three, and I thought, what would be kind of fun to do it on today? And this was one of the three models. And I thought, I want to play on one of the most influential models in Lowry's history and Fletcher Music Center's history. But I'm going to open up with some music first, and then I'll explain why. Is that view okay there? Is that okay?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Okay. So let me put my
Per-
speakers. Okay, well, you might see it, you may not. But here we go.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Good
thank you, thank
job,
you.
Robert.
Great job, good job, good job, good
All
job.
right. Well, I hope the sound was okay because we did a sound check beforehand, but I started off with something bigger and I saw it
It was
turning into
big
red.
enough.
Was the sound okay?
Yes.
All right. Well, I
Great.
am playing I am playing the mighty Lowry Royale. They're all mighty, aren't they?
The
We're proud.
Royal.
Oh
We're
my.
proud. We're proud of all of the Lowry models and the SD models and all the instruments we carry. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to allow you to mute yourself. So why don't you take a moment and mute yourself? See, this way I don't feel like I'm telling you to be quiet. But I might do it. There's still some of you unmuted, and we don't want any bad words. This is a family show, folks. But anyway, I would like you to do that throughout the show. But I am playing the Lowry Royale. Now, I chose this instrument. I featured it about a few weeks ago, I want to say. Um, and I did a show for about 15, 20 people or something like that. And the title of that particular event, I titled it "The Lowry That Changed the World." And the reason is because when this instrument was introduced, it was the first time I think in Lowry's history that they had more breakthroughs in technology and features and sounds that that were ever introduced, and it was a breakthrough in the computer technology and the flexibility of saving presets and saving them on the computer and copying and pasting and things like that. All these little things, and even up until this point, even to the aria, the the overall general operation and concept and functionality of this instrument was basically inspired by the Lowry Royale. And of course, there are many other great models along the way, but this instrument started off with the what I call the today all of the inspired features. Now, for example, first of all, in all flagship models that we have, they obviously have this beautiful cabinetry. Now, if you noticed, all of our top of the line models have this similar style to it. Be it as it may, they've changed slightly. You know, the Sterling's changed in a little bit in the cabinetry. The Prestiges had a similar effect to it. The Marquis and so forth, but they all had that nice, beautiful, somewhat on that theater style look, but not quite, where the arms wrap around. And the reason for that is because up in here, it allows Lowry to put speakers up in here, pushing the sound up and out, and then obviously all the rest of the speakers at the bottom. Like many of the flagship models, this was actually, I think, the first time that Lowry introduced not the rack extender, but the rack extender that pulled out as far as it did. So most rack extenders prior to the Royale came out about this far. So you know you have your music here, but this one here pulled out like about 6 inches, bringing it very close. So if you used your music, it was literally, you could see here that if I were to have music here, I actually have a piece of music right here. So if I was playing the song, I have the music right in front of my face. Now, we can't make it come out any further because then it would become a chin rest, I guess, and that wouldn't be comfortable playing. And it's as far as it'll go. It's still giving you the option of having access to the panel and the buttons. Now, having it full out, I might have to lean down just a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm going to animate it easy to store away. This was also the first time that Lowry introduced many features that you're going to hear today. But to keep moving along, I'm going to play another song for you, and I'll try to introduce styles that were introduced in 2001 when this instrument came out. Because now, many of you, if you have a Liberty or a Marquis, obviously you have these rhythms. But I'm gonna name some styles. I'm gonna say this is when it first came out. This was the style that was introduced on this model. For example, one of my favorite big band styles that was introduced is a style called the Vegas Big Band. Now, some of you are familiar with that style, yes? Yeah, okay. And it's a really cool style because depending on how you play it, you could make it work for you both two ways. If I just turn it on and turn on my rhythm preset, which I'll talk about in a moment, and you put on the intro, just play it and play a simple C chord, this is what you get. That's not Vegas Big Band. Let me put Vegas Big Band. Have you ever pushed the wrong button on your organ? No. There's only one person, 2 people saying yes. The other 100 of you are saying no. Okay, see, our Zoom classes are doing really well for you. Okay, so here's Vegas Big Band. Here's the C chord. And this is great. You can do stuff like this. But wait. but wait, there's more. Now I'm going to put on that same style. I was teaching some classes this week and I mentioned that a lot of the styles have these intros and minors. This was the first time that Lowry introduced what we call a minor chord introduction that basically changed the style, okay, from the way it normally would come out. Now, what's really cool about this is, while I do this, I'm going to introduce two very famous drummers. You may have heard the name Gene Krupa. Anybody know the name Gene Krupa? Remember the name Gene Krupa? He had his own very unique style, which focused on, I think, like the tom-toms and what have you. And there was another one by the name of Buddy Rich, who actually competed in the Muppet Show against Animal. If you remember the Muppet Show, the creature, the animal, I think was his name, and I remember they had a competition, and that's when I first knew about Buddy Rich. Two totally different style drummers. So what I'm going to do is take that style, I'm going to put on a minor chord introduction instead, all right, and then I'm going to hold the fill-in down. You could either use your touch bar. This was the first time they introduced two touch bars on a Lowry. And I'm going to hold the touch bar, or I may use the foot switch, whatever, or the FX. And I'm going to tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So when I do it, the first one, I'll bring out Gene Krupa, and that usually happens with the drum variation on. And if I turn off the drum variation, it's Buddy Rich. Now listen, here's the minor chord introduction. All right. So here we go. Drum variation. I'm gonna hit the kick switch. That's with drum variation on. Here we go. Now we turn off drum variation, and you have Buddy Rich. Thank you. Hold the applause.
Yay.
Yeah. Wasn't that fun? So
Oh,
hopefully
yes.
this might be a little bit of a learning experience for some of you, and hopefully you might be inspired to say, huh, I really like that Lowry Royale. Again, I have to tell you, when this instrument was introduced, I can't tell you how, all over the years, every flagship model that gets introduced is great. We're always excited about the new features. But to me, there's been a few models that went above and beyond over the years. The Royale was one of those. Now, I'm going to go back to 2001. I want to say May 14. Don't quote me on the date, but I think I'm pretty close. I know it was May. It was the year 2001 it was introduced, and Paul Schaub happened to be the artist that Lowry came to that sent to introduce the Lowry Royale. Now, how many of you know the name Paul Schaub? Show of hands. No, some of you been around a while. You know it. Fletcher Music. Paul Schaub
Chico.
is Paul Schaub is great. He's written a lot of owner's manuals for Lowry's and the Estes over the years. He's got the nickname the Professor at Lowry
You
because
feel too high, my feet don't reach
he's
the
a great
floor.
clinician. And Sean just muted me too.
I did
And
not.
and when he introduced the model, I have to tell you, this was really cool. The show that we had was in Tucson here, that my show, and we had about it was about 45 people, somewhere around I think it was like 32 households or so, give or take. And when we first saw this model, we knew we had to go all out, first class. It was, you got to remember, the technology before that was completely, totally different. And in that show, we had literally there was like 18 of these were sold in one show. We had an intermission. We actually had a student, one of my students. I remember in the intermission, he got mad because he wanted to put his order in and nobody was helping him out. We were so busy. But one of the features that was introduced in that show. Now when you hear this, you're gonna say, "Oh, big deal," but you got to remember, this is when it first came out. And here's what Paul did. He had a 3x5 index card, okay, and he had them sitting at every person's table seating, and he had a little golf pencil there, so we made sure everybody had something to write on. And after he opened up his show, and opened up with a song or two, and he said, "Okay, now you see the little index card?" He said, "Write down the words touch and scroll." So he gave everybody a minute to touch and scroll. He says, "Everybody have it? Who hasn't got?" We made sure we had everybody. He says, "Okay, fold that up, put it in your wallet, or just put it in your purse." He says, "There's your owner's manual." And everybody just kind of laughed. Well, the point he was making was this was the first time the touch screen was introduced on the Lowry models. And his point was, you're going to get an owner's manual this thick with all the nuts and bolts of it and this and that and the other and go to page da da da. So, however, if you just get in the habit of touching and scrolling on this instrument, you're going to be able to figure out more on this organ than you ever have on any other model in its history. And one of those features that was introduced in the touch and scroll was the song setup. Now, how many of you are familiar with song setup? Yeah, big deal, right? I got 700 of them. I got 1,000. I've got 5. This was the first time song setup was introduced in the history of Lowry. And on the Lowry Royale, there were 500 song setups introduced on this model. And because of the screen here, you'll notice it's the black and white screen, but the functionality of the screen works that when you touch and you scroll, if you press and you hold it, it zips through very quickly, unlike some of the color screens. So if I want to do, here's one. This was the first time this was introduced. I'm on the A's. I'm going to touch and scroll. I'm going to go to the M's. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and then whoop, zipped right up to the M's. And now I'm there, and I'm going to find one here, and it says Mr. Sandman. So I touch Mr. Sandman, and this was the first time this style Sandy Man was introduced. And who knows the famous girls that sang the song? What were they called?
Cordettes.
What was it?
Cordettes.
The Cordettes, yes. And I think they got a recording of them somehow and they stuck them in here. I don't know if they actually did, but it sure sounds just like them here. This is absolutely phenomenal. So when people heard this, they really thought, boy, they were back in time listening to the Chordettes sing this song.
Wonderful.
Isn't that cool?
That's nice.
Yes.
It's very nice.
This was when it was introduced. No wonder it's such a great style that they've kept over the years. You know, as the models progress and they add and add, every now and then some of the models they'll actually take some out that aren't used and they'll add some new ones in. But this one here that style remains over and over. Now, here's another one that I'm going to come way back to my C's, and whoop, I went back past the C's. It goes pretty quickly. Because as I was scrolling earlier, I saw one on here that was it said Chattanooga Choo Choo. Now, I'm going to tell you why many of us were excited about this style. Now, you know, when I use the song set up Chattanooga Choo Choo, it's going to give me this style called the swing train. Okay? The Royale is when it was introduced. Before the swing train came out, for many years there was that bluegrass train that many of you are used to. You know, she'll be coming around the mountain kind of train, the bluegrass train style. And every time we played that over the years, I can't tell you how many people heard the train in the beginning and they said, oh, Chattanooga Choo Choo. And I'm sorry, folks, but if you're using the train style, this train style, with Chattanooga Choo Choo, I don't think it works. Let's see. I don't think Glenn Miller is doing it that way, going, yee-haw, yee-haw. No. But we ran into that so many times. So when we found out that Lowry, with the song setup and is built into the instrument, had this swing train, which gave it that great same classic train sound, only in the Glenn Miller style, this was absolutely perfect. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you.
That was great.
Oh,
Timeless
bravo.
classics to great styles. Now, I have to tell you, I know some of you, I've known many of you over the years, and I was looking on the screen. I said, "Oh, I remember. I'm not gonna single them out." I go, "I remember when she got the Royale, and then she traded for the Stardust, and then traded for the something after that, and then this and that, and now she's 7, 8 organs later. They got the Marquis, or the Grand Marquis, or something like that." Now, any of you upgrade your organ more than once or twice, maybe? Some of you? Okay. So
Weekly.
weekly? Okay.
No.
I think we should start a competition
4 or 5.
and see who can win, who can trade up the fastest.
You're amazing.
But what happens is, why do we get a new organ? Well, many reasons. One of the reasons is typically because of the new styles. And what happens if you're like me, whenever a new instrument came out, or like recently this year we introduced the symphony as an example. Well, what do I do when I sit down in the symphony? I play all the new styles. And I tend to forget these other great styles that were introduced that are so phenomenal. So you're going to hear some more, obviously, throughout the show here. But I mentioned another that we had a lot of breakthrough features. Believe it or not, well, you might as well believe it because it's true. But many of you may not know this. The Lowry Royale was the first time it introduced the redesigned rhythm presets. Now, for those of you who have the presets here, and you use the rhythm presets, you may be thinking, I've got them, it's great. But not many people know that the Royale was the first instrument that introduced the way the rhythm presets work. And let me explain. Up until the Lowry Royale, when you turned on the instrument, the famous feature rhythm preset used to be located up here with the rhythms. There was one button. So if you put on big band and rhythm preset, you got one great setting. If you put on a country, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the Lowry Majesty, which is a phenomenal instrument in its time, had 3 rhythm presets. And let me tell you, we made a big deal about that. So when the Royale was introduced, Lowry changed the design and the functionality, and they made one rhythm preset that shifted your 10 presets, giving you 10 plus the 1, 11 rhythm presets for every style. Now, I know many of you have that, and you know that, but this is when it was introduced. And this is also the first time the screen spoke to us and told us what the setups were as that progressed over the years, but this is where it all started. So, for example, when I decide to put on a style, I'm going to have a little fun here. This is a style that I just absolutely love, and it's a style called soliloquy. And I'm going to use a rhythm presets, and I have my own setups that I've made with the song, but I'm not going to use my own setups. I'm going to use just what's built into the instrument. And the song that I typically play with it is Through the Eyes of Love, theme from Ice Castles. Gorgeous piece. And all I'm going to do is touch the custom 4 button, and it tells me the type of sound that I'm going to get before I press it. So I have finale, ensemble, piano, solo, strings, organ, easy, etc., etc. And again, this is just soliloquy, rhythm preset, and I'm just going to bounce around from 1 through 10. You don't have to use them all, but I'm just going to use the ones that appeal to me on the screen. So here we go. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely.
This is where it all started, folks, on the Lowry Royale. Oh, I'm having so much fun. I hope you're enjoying the show today. Are you
Oh, yeah.
enjoying the show? All right. Well, I'm going to continue on with some other great sounds and features that the Lowry Royale introduced. But this was a style that was introduced. It still is on the Lowry instruments. They kept it on for all the years. It doesn't get used a lot, but it is just a really cool style. And I'm going to go, I believe it's in my soft and easy. And it is, or is it in the ballad? Oh, here it is. Yes. And this is just a really cool style. It's in the ballad category. On here, it's on variation 2. So check it out if you have that variation somewhere. The style is called soul ballad. And this was just a really elegant style. When I first heard this, the first thing that came to mind was I should play Georgia with it. Ray Charles in Georgia, and it's just a really gorgeous style. Listen. Yeah, you know, if for you married couples out there, guys, if you ever really want to romance your wife, this is a great style. I don't know, when you hear this, I feel like going like this. Hey, baby. You know I love you. I love you, dear. I love you all my life. And I tell you, I'm gonna love you forever to the end of our days. Yes, baby. Don't you feel like doing that?
Sounds like Barry White.
It does sound like Barry, but I'm doing Ray Charles.
No, not
I don't know
Barry. Barry.
Or you can do it. You can, sometimes, we do have those couples where one is involved and the other is not involved, and the husband is looking at their next model and they go, oh, but I promised my wife that I'd have to talk to her first. This is the style to do it. Hey, baby, I love you. I'll love you forever. Oh, yeah. And don't ever forget that. You're the only true and the only one. To the end of my days, to my last breath, you'll be the one. Could I buy a new Lowry organ? Baby, let me upgrade my instrument. Let me get a new Lowry organ, honey. Like I said, I love you. I love you forever and ever. Thank you, thank you.
Crazy.
Well, I hope you. I'm having fun. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's pretty fun doing this because, like I said, when I was playing, or on my way in this morning, I had three models that I was going to choose, and I said that I called Sean actually, and I said I think I dwindled down to two, and I said now I got to decide which one. He's like, which one? He thought I'd been preparing for days on this, and sometimes I like doing that on purpose because I like to be put on the spot. One of the things I learned years ago as a guitar player, out of necessity, um, we had to learn to improvise. And one of the things I love to do is be put on the spot. And so as I got to the store today, I said, you know what? It was either Royale or this. I said, I'm just going to do the Royale. And some of this stuff is unscripted. So I hope you're enjoying the show. I'm having fun with it. And I continue on to some other styles. Now, I'm going to play a handful of songettes here for you because there's so many great styles that this instrument introduced that I'm simply not going to have enough time to play. But I'm going to kind of enlighten you on some of these really cool things, that these styles that were introduced and some of these new sounds. This was the first time that Lowry introduced what I call Liberace uh, type styles. Now, did anybody know who Liberace was by chance? He was a popular piano person that played really well, and he had a very unique style. In fact, he was a great piano player before he had the orchestra, but once he had the orchestra, it was just embellished. And there's a couple great styles on here that were inspired by his styling in orchestra. One is under the classic category, and the other is under the special category. And I'm just going to use a rhythm preset, and I'm going to start off with the first one here. This one on the special category, it's called Mr. Showman. This is so cool. You could play so many classic songs with this, but I'll play a little bit of one of the ones that I like. And what's really cool about this is on the Lowry Royale, this was also the first time that the lower split keyboard allowed us to play more than one note. Up until this point, many of the models only did a solo note. The Lowry Royale introduced the option of having the orchestral sounds down here. So if I wanted to, I can play more than one note. Now, I know some of you already have that option. You're like, big deal. But you got to remember, in 2001, we could never work around that. And this was the first time it happened. I'll play a little bit of Mr. Showman, and then I'll go to the next style that was really fabulous that was inspired by Liberace and his styling. And this is Mr. Showman. And so that was Mr. Shobin. And of course, my other favorite one, they call this Candelabra. And this is a little bit more dramatic, folks, a little bit more on the dramatic side. And sounds like this. Now, by the way, the harmonies, I don't know if you noticed it, but when I was playing, the harmony with one finger was designed to make me sound like Liberace with one finger. Pretty cool. This one as well, listen. Ooh. Oh,
Wonderful.
I feel like that should be a finale in itself, right? I don't know what it is about this. I don't think it'll sound any bit worse or better if you don't do this, but I feel like you have to go. I'm having a good time. How about you? You
You
enjoying the
bet.
music, all right? Now, as I get set up for this next style, when you hear this, you're going to go, "Oh, is that where it started on? This is the organ it started on, folks." But I'm going to ask Sean. I don't know if Sean, are you there somewhere in the background?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. We need to do, have you taken any screenshots of the people applauding or laughing or anything
You know,
like
I've
that?
been experimenting and doing a video one so you can actually see hands
Okay.
moving.
Now let's do one where you're waving. Tell me when you're ready.
Okay,
Okay.
I am ready.
Okay. Three, two,
Go
one.
ahead.
Everybody wave. Yes. Happy faces.
Let me turn this off.
Okay. There we go. Gene's got his mask on, so he's pointing it over there. Okay. All
Great. I
right.
took about 40 snapshots there,
Oh
so
my goodness.
one of them will be good, I think.
All right. Um, okay, so this next style is actually one that I use quite often. And a lot of us use it. It's just a really fun style. It's kind of like one of those, if you're just having a bad day, you want to, and you don't want to play a song where you make a mistake. Because, you know, if you're having a bad day, you don't want to play a song and make mistakes and make it worse, right? I always say, pick a song that's simple, make it easy, but something that it's a little fun to do. This is a song. This is my go-to song when it comes to that because it's also a good warm-up song for me. It's an easy song to play. It's probably an overplayed song, but because it's so easy and overplayed, it also makes it very easy for me to improvise. If you ever want to learn to improvise, my secret to you is pick a song that's really simple that you can enjoy playing it enough. And eventually, as you play it so comfortably, then you go to the next step of trying to play and add little things to it. I wouldn't suggest picking a song like Tico Tico, learning it in a week, and then going, I'm going to improvise to that. It ain't going to happen. And I actually mentioned this in my workshop about a month or so ago when I taught Learn How to Memorize a Song. The style is called razzmatazz. Okay? This is where it was introduced on the Lowry Royale. Now, what I'm going to do is play it 2 times through. Listen closely, because razzmatazz, this style, if you play the song When the Saints Go Marching In, it'll actually, all the fill-ins are perfect for it. Okay, so I'm going to play it twice through, and then I'm going to improvise. That's what's so great about the song. It's so easy to play that I've learned to improvise. Now, I don't know what preset I'm going to use, but I'm going to use my rhythm presets here. And let me put it down to key of B flat. And we'll start off with its initial setup. What do you got, an organ and a banjo? What the heck, we'll go with that. Here we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Robert, it looks like Carl has a
Whoa,
question. Robert, it
All
looks like
right.
Carl has a question.
Here.
What's that? Someone has a question?
Carl,
Carl, you have a question? It's got to be an easy question, Carl, okay?
Hello, Carl.
I can't hear you yet, Carl.
You are muted.
Let's do sign language.
There you go.
I don't know sign language. Well, I know a couple things, but they're not nice. Carl, go ahead.
I had an audio problem which I had to fix. That's why my hand was up here.
Okay.
Because all my little different items are upper right-hand corner rather than your left-hand corner.
Okay. Do you have a question?
Oh,
Your hand was raised. Do you have a question? No?
No,
He just explained to you.
Oh, that was it? Oh, okay.
that's it.
Sorry. Well,
Oh,
well, hopefully you're enjoying the show. I'm going to do a little finale here. And I've actually done this a lot in concert. But what a lot of people don't know is this finale actually started, this arrangement actually started on this model. And then subsequently, I transferred it to all the other models. And no matter what's happening in the world, I'm always still very proud to be an American. And so I thought I'd do a little couple patriotic numbers for you. But by the way, did you notice I wore this today? This week I told everybody that with all of the pins and needles and the people going through with the stress of the polls and the voting and what have you, I said this week, all the classes that I'm teaching, I'm going to wear a different musical tie each day. I only have like 4 or 5 of them, so I figure I wear them all this week. I have one more that I'm going to wear on one of the classes I'm doing next week for the smaller models. But I very rarely get to wear my keyboard and a tie here. And there's got a treble clef in there. And hold on, I have the notes perfectly to play Marianne. There we go. I just played Marianne on my tie. Thank you very much. So, but anyway, I want to thank you for having me out today, coming out and joining. I'm going to finish up with a little number here. This is one of those I wish everybody was wearing headphones or was actually here 10 feet away from me so they could experience the sounds that they're going to hear out of this. But when this instrument was introduced, not only we were blown away by all of the features and the sounds that came out of it, the way you can manage the sound from the top to the bottom. We have the monitor speakers. We had all these golden harps, things that I probably didn't even get a chance to even speak about today. But the sound system in its day, when it was introduced, it set itself apart not only from its predecessor models, but any other model in the industry. And at that time, there was a lot of competition still out there. And so anyway, I'm very proud. We're proud of all the models that we carry, and we're very passionate about everything that we offer to our students. But I will tell you, and I know some of you have larger models, that, maybe I know some people that have an extra one in their home. If you ever considered one, this is a great opportunity to get one. If you happen to have a local church that needs an organ, this offers a lot of sounds that a recreational music player would use, but it also has a ton of organ presets that I didn't get to show off today. In fact, this has the tibias on it, the St. Cathedral's church organ sound in it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or some of you may have a smaller instrument that maybe like a conductor or Freedom 3 or Easy 4, Easy 10, something like that. And I can't tell you how many times over the years I've met someone that had a smaller model in size, and they enter the store and we play on the Marquee or the Patriot, the big models, and they go, boy, wouldn't that be nice? But, well, right now, these Lowry Royales are priced perfectly for those who have those instruments. In fact, they're so affordable. It would be worth at least speaking to your staff members about that. But anyway, with that said, I'm going to finish up with some settings that, let's see what we got here. Okay. Ooh, that's big, nice big finale sound here. And let's see what happens. So put the angle. Is that a good angle? Okay.
beautiful.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let's give a big round of applause to the Lowry Royale, everybody.
I'm gonna go right out.
Thank you. We hope that made your afternoon a much better one. I thank you for joining us. And as always,
lesson?
From Arizona.
I'm from Arizona, yes.
God bless America.
That's right. All right, well, folks, thank you so much.
Well, depending
As
what I
always,
got on here.
stay safe, keep playing music, and mwah.
Oh, then he did hear us.
Take care.
Here, do another wave. I want to record another wave. Yeah, keep it going, just as long as we're on here. Perfect. Oh, that's beautiful. That's going to turn out great. What good-looking students we have.
Thanks, Troy, Sean.